Yo, what's up, family? Yo, we got a very relevant one for a lot of you out there today, especially a lot of you parents. A lot of you parents, remember, we was once kids before, so we know how this feel. So that's why this was a personal one to me. So we're gonna title this one, 4 words: parents treating kids equally. Now we're gonna first touch on that ignorant, immature video of that lady, that young lady, call herself putting her man on blast because he brought his son McDonald's food for his kid. But meanwhile, she had 3 other kids that was not his. Now, there's so many ways you could go about that. But the reason I'm doing this video because that jogged the memory. I was in that predicament before. I know exactly how that is. I'm gonna tell y'all, just touch a little bit on it. But I definitely was in that position before when my cousins got this and I didn't, but we all together. And yo, that'll turn the kids against their own siblings. Cause they're like, yo man, your father, your uncle gave you and he didn't give us. But anyway, back to that young lady because she was real ignorant. Yo, what that guy did bringing his kid food, I commend him. He just being a good father. But for her to be out there videotaping, want to put everything on the internet like a lot of these fools out here, that's number one, her ignorance. Then when he said to her, I'm bringing something for my son. And then her response is, if you ain't got enough for all the other kids, then you don't bring that. Okay, listen. For him to bring something for his son, a lot of y'all need to understand, for him to bring something for his son, he's doing his fatherly duties. Now, if he brings something for the other kids, that's because he want to. But the way that young lady, ignorant lady was acting, she was making it like he was obligated to do it. And when he said to her, where are their fathers? She had no response.
She really disgusts me. And
no
I don't care
response.
what anybody says. She was totally wrong.
Exactly.
Totally wrong.
Exactly. Because you chose to have sex with these men. Like a lot of women out here, y'all have poor judgments when it comes to the men you lay down and have kids with. Very poor judgment. So like he said, where their fathers at? She had no response. And then she had the nerve to say, you know I don't get my EBT, my welfare to the first of the month. So you're telling me you got 4 kids. By now, you should have great management with knowing how to raise your kids with proper nutrition and to spread it out. But obviously she don't. She got more time putting it in her weave and her nails because it looked like she was at a nail salon. So you got more time to put it on this stupid stuff opposed to managing your 4 kids' nutrition. And you only could rely on the welfare government to feed your kids. But this man bringing food, you're going to try to make him feel like he's obligated. No, she's a fool.
He should be taking her to court, though. Take custody of her son.
That's what I would say. That would be one of my conclusions where I would say, you know what, my man, you need to go to court and get custody of your kids. Because for her to say she only get money for welfare to feed her kids 1 time a month, then that means you need to get your kid away from her. And then her trying to make it like you're obligated to take care of other kids that's not yours. Now here's another flip side of it. Because I'm not condemning that man none whatsoever. He's there to take care of his kids. He's a presence. He's in his kid's life. Now, what I am saying is, though, you do got to understand, like the title of the video, parents treating kids equally. Now, you do got to understand, you would have took that McDonald's food in there and gave it to your son only, and his 3 brothers and sisters see that they don't get nothing. You know what happens? That turns them against their very own brother. They're going to have a sense of hatred towards him when it's not his fault. So you do have to be mindful and say, wow, how should I go about this? But remember, he did have a conclusion. He said, bring my son outside so he could sit in the car with me. Okay, but his brothers and sisters or whatever, they still gonna know when he go back inside, wow, he smelled like McDonald's. He full, he not hungry, whatever the case. Man, your father be doing stuff for you, he don't be doing nothing for us. He's not obligated to them, but at the same time, you do gotta have some compassion and some common sense. Don't turn the siblings against each other. So it's so much we could touch on this, but let's get to the point, like I said, because that's kind of being biased, and as always, I love to give y'all a word of the day. And that's a simple one, bias, B-I-A-S. Bias simply means to be prejudiced and making past judgments or favorable judgment towards someone or a person or a thing without being fair amongst the others. Like you're being real biased, man. You more favorite to this one. Well, it's his son. That's why he's biased to his son. The other one's not his. Yeah, but that young lady was very ignorant and very immature because it touches on another one of my videos called um, I Don't Need a Man. See, you fell for the cheese like a mouse to cheese. You fell for the cheese. You know, government said we're going to give you welfare week and all this stuff, but you got to get rid of that man. Back in 1965 when they brought that law into existence. And a lot of women fell for that nonsense. And now you did everything what the government wants you to do, break up that family. But anyway, let's get back to like I said, some of these same situations. Like I said, that video touched me personally because I've been through that. So check this out. I'm gonna give you some of my stuff. I remember as a kid, you know, growing up in Elizabeth. You know, I really from New Brunswick. My mom's passed away. I moved to Elizabeth with my uncle, but you know, I still have family in New Brunswick, and particularly my one cousin, Lil Carl. A lot of y'all in New Brunswick, y'all might know him. He went by the name Ali Bourne. But anyway, yo, when we was kids, yo, we shared everything. We shared everything. Yo, if my mother gave us a food stamp, yeah, y'all can laugh. Yes, a food stamp. If she gave us a food stamp, she gave me a food stamp. The first thing out of my mother's mouth was she would say, give Lil Carl 50 cents of that. I knew it. If I ran into my absentee father once in a blue moon that I did, and he gave me 50 cents, he said, give Lil Carl a quarter of that. I always had to share with him. They knew that. Even if he wasn't around, they was like, make sure you give him half of that. All the time, because they knew we always hung together. But anyway, yo, check this story out. So now that y'all understand what I'm saying, the premise of, like I said, this touched on me personally. Because you'll make someone biased against the other. You being biased against one gonna turn the other one against that one. Check this out. I remember out of all them times that I would get money, and I always had to share with my cousin, and vice versa. He would get money, same thing. But I remember my cousin, one day he ran into his mother. Now, unfortunately, his mother didn't raise him. He barely seen his mother like I barely seen my father. You know what I'm saying? His aunt raised him. So anyway, that's a whole nother story. I don't need to go into all that. But anyway, on this one particular day, we out and about being kids, right? Like I said, I'd say we about 7 years old, something like that, maybe 8. So we ran into his mother. Just roaming the neighborhood, we ran into her. And she said, she chat with us for a little bit, and I'm standing right next to my cousin, Lil Carl. Next thing you know, she pulled out $1. This was around the first of the month, so she had some money. She pulled out $1, and she gave it to her son, my cousin. She said, hey, here go $1. And right away, he said, Ma, how about Lil Junior? You give him? And she said, boy, that's enough. I gave you $1. And he said, yeah, but you didn't give him enough. She said, that's enough. She said, and then she said, well, I'll tell you what. Because he said, no, because we always share everything. She said, you share everything? She said, well, I'll tell you what. Give him 35 cents. You keep 65 cents. Yo, and I was right next to him when she said that. Yo, I was like, that was a biased thing. She's showing favoritism to her son over me. Whereas, see, like that McDonald's thing. Yeah, I'm not her son. That is her son. Of course she's showing favoritism. But my mother never did that. When my mother gave me $1, she said, you share that 50 cents with Lil Carl. You give him 50, you get 50. If my father, one of my uncles gave me money, they said, yo, man, you give half of that to Lil Carl. If my older brothers gave me a quarter, they was like, all right, gave you a quarter, Lil Junior, you gotta give half of that to Lil Carl. I remember, see, this how some of the times I had to figure out how to count so well. Because I remember the first time one of my siblings gave me a quarter, and they said, you gotta share that with Lil Carl. I was like, share that with Lil Carl? He's talking about it's a quarter. You know how big a quarter was back in the day? I was like, share that with a quarter? Wait a minute, hold on. If I give him 10 cents, I get 10 cents. Then 5 cents left. Okay, that ain't right. If I give him 11 cents and I get 11 cents, that's 22 cents. Okay, if I get 12 cents, he get 12 cents, then that's 24 cents. There's a penny left over. And I remember, like, one of my uncles said, well, then you get 13 cents, he get 12 cents. That's still splitting. You can't split a penny, boy. But anyway, his mother said, here's $1, give Lil Junior 35 cents, and you keep 65. Yo, you know how I felt that day? I'll tell you, because I, as a kid, I felt the bias right there. The best way I can explain it would be like David Banner. Remember how David Banner would say stuff like, Mr. McGee, don't make me angry. You wouldn't want to see me when I'm angry. You know, the Hawk. He would turn from David Banner to the Hawk. That's how I felt. I was like, what shit mean give me 35 cents? Man, you're supposed to give me 50 cents. Do you know when his mother left and me and Lil Carl walked to the store, the whole walk to the store, we was arguing the whole time because he was like, my mother said give you 65 cents. And I was like, man, what you talking about 65 cents? You supposed to give me 50 cents, man. He said, nah, but my mother said give you 35 cents. I said, I don't care what your mother said, man. Forget that. Bump your mother. Man, what you talking about? Don't be talking about my mother. You know, we was arguing the whole time because he was like, yo, man, I'm going to get, back then, you know, the big thing was that, what do you call it? The icy, where they would crush the ice, they would slide the ice, put the ice in the cone and put the, I forgot what it's called.
Liquid.
Yeah. So, you know, we would get the 25 cent icy. But Lil Carl was so big on saying, man, I'm going to get the big icy. It's 50 cents. And then I could still have 15 cents left over. Because my mother said, give you 35 cents. So now that means I could only get the 25 cent one, and I got 10 cents left. Come on, man. The whole time we was arguing. So you see what I'm saying? Like with that young lady and the McDonald's stuff and the father, you're going to turn siblings against each other. And that's how I felt the whole time. Like, yo, man, what you talking about? Man, every time my mom give us $1, she tell me I gotta give you 50 cents. Yo, that ain't fair, man. Your mother said I gotta give me 35. Well, that's what she said. I'm gonna get the big icy. I'm gonna get the 50 cent one. That's all he kept saying. Because normally my cousin got my back. He knew we share everything. But he was so big on saying, I'm gonna get the 50 cent ice slushy thing. That's all he kept saying. It was getting on my nerves, man. From that point on, man, I kind of hated his mother. You know what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Once again, bias, because she was so biased towards him. When my mother, my uncles, my father never was biased towards him when they gave me money. But here she was being biased towards that. So it's, even as a kid, I understood, man, that's not fair, man. You're supposed to give it to all of us. Let me keep going. Let me give you another story. Check this out. When you're being biased and you're being unfair, remember the title of the video, parents treating kids equally. How about this? I remember my uncle, we lived in Elizabeth, but he knew I always spent time with my cousin, Lil Carl, always that. So in the summer, every now and then he would drive me to New Brunswick. Check this out. My Uncle Billy, I remember this one summer out of many. I remember this one summer he drove me over. Boy, I'll never forget this summer. You know, my uncle always had some money. So in this one summer, we driving over, you know, he was showing off a little bit, trying to get me all excited. He said, all right, little Junior, he said, I tell you what, man. He said, I'm gonna give you, cause you're gonna need some money while you're over there, right? And I said, oh yeah. So he pulled out like $100 bill, right? He said, hey, here you go, boy. I'm gonna give you $100 bill for you. Man, as a kid, I was like, super happy, right? And then after he gave me $100, he said, boy, I'm just playing. Give me that money back, boy. I was like, what? And then he gave me a 50. He said, you think a $50 bill, that's good enough for you, for your bill? I still was like, I was super happy. He said, yeah, give you $50. So if you need some more money, just call back to the house, and I'll get it over there to you. I was like, man, he gave me a $50 bill. But this to drive over to New Brunswick. Yo, the closer we got to New Brunswick, when we finally got at our location, he said, boy, I think that $50 is too much money for you, boy. He said, give me that $50. I was like, man, come on now. He said, you're going to spend that up too quick, boy. And all I was thinking, man, me and Lil Carl, we're going to be, man, I'm going to give him 25. We're going to have $25. I was so happy. He said, nah, give me that $50 back, boy. He said, I'll tell you what, take this $1. He said, take this $1 here. This will be for you. And matter of fact, here go $2. Give $1 to Lil Carl, and you take $1. He said, but the $50 is still yours. I'm going to just give it to your aunt. I'm going to give it to your Aunt Sharon. And I'm going to have her give it to you little at a time. Because if I give you that whole $50, y'all going to spend it all up on candy. And I was like, no, we ain't going to do that, please. We ain't going to do that. Come on, He said, no, look, boy, just take the $2. Make sure you get a little call $1 and you get $1. So I was like, man. So he gives the aunt the $50 bill. And now, and I told my cousin Lil Carl about everything. Yo, she got $50 in mine, man. Uncle Billy gave us a $50 bill. He says, for both of us, man. See what I'm saying? My uncles, my mom, none of them never did that bias stuff that his mother pulled on me. Or, like some of y'all would say in that McDonald's video, yeah, he was taking care of his son, but neglecting the other ones. They're not his obligation. If he does it, it's because he wants to. Or he's realizing the nurturing effect or turning against his brothers and sisters. That is the only reason he would say, let me get all. But not because she's trying to make an obligation. But let me get back to my story. So anyway, my uncle gives the $50 to my aunt, and he gives me $2 for $1 for my cousin and $1 for me. But I'm still thinking about that 50. Man, I told my cousin about everything. Now that we knew that we had $50 that was given to my aunt for us, And now remember my uncle gave us both $1. He gave me $2, one for my cousin, one for me. No bias stuff, equal. Parents treating kids equally. My uncle, my mom always was equal. It was my cousin little Carl mother that was on some bull junk talking about 35 cents for me, 65 cents for him. But anyway, back to the $50. So yo, we took that $1 that we had a piece, and man, we went out and bought all the candy and snow cone. That's the word I look for. The icy stuff. That's the word I couldn't get earlier. It's called a snow cone. They were, man, we went and bought snow cones, candy, and all. We spent that $1 that I spent my whole $1. He spent his whole $1 like it was no tomorrow. Like the saying goes, like the well will never run dry. Because the only thing on our mind is we got $50. We're gonna get $25 a piece. So we spent that $1 exactly like my uncle said. The reason why he didn't want to give me the 50, because he said y'all gonna spend it all up on candy like it's no tomorrow. That's exactly how we spent up the $1, like it was no tomorrow. Because all we was banking on, we got $50. So what happened? The next day came. We woke up early in the morning like it was Christmas. Because all we thinking, we got $50. That's what we thinking. Oh boy, did we get a shock. Because now my cousin, we up early in the morning. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. Birds barely up, birds chirping. And we like, man, we gotta get that money, right? So now my cousin, we like, man, it's too early. We gotta wait. You know how long 2 hours is to wait to 8 o'clock? Just to say, man, maybe we can ask her now. Man, when 8 o'clock come, my cousin said, yo, little Junior, won't you go in there and ask her, could we have some of our money? See, even he know it's equal. And I said, what? I said, man, how about you go? Because, you know, little kids, we scared to ask the parents, especially when the parents always getting drunk and yelling and cussing at us all the time. So I said, what? I said, man, how about you go ask, man? It's your aunt, you live with her. He said, nah, man, you know, because, you know, Uncle Billy gave it to you, so you go ask, man. And then, you know, it's for both of us, but he gave it to you. She respect it because you asking. You know how little kids is, they be talking with their hands because they nervous. So I finally go in there, and I was like tapping. I was like, Aunt Sharon. And when she woke up, finally, I said, could we have some? Could we me and little Paul? Could we have some?
Yeah, man, you gotta look all retarded.
That's how you is as a kid. You're so nervous. You know, I was like, could we have some of the money that my uncle he gave us? My uncle gave you $50. Could we have like some of the money so we could go get some stuff from the store? And she was like, what? What you talking about $50? I was like, yeah, my uncle, I seen him. He gave you $50. If we could have some of it, he said it was for me and little Cole. And she was like, boy, you ain't got no damn $50. I was like, no, I seen him give it to you, right? So then she said this, boy, she hit me with a sledgehammer. She said, like, figuratively. She said, what, $50? She said, let me ask you something, boy. Did you eat last night? I was like, in my head, I'm saying, what that got to do with anything? She said, did you eat last night? I was like, yeah. And she said, you expect to eat breakfast and lunch today, right? I said, she said, well, that's the damn $50. That's the damn $50. You ain't getting no damn $50. You get the hell up out of my room with this. Talking about some $50 like you pay bills around here. Man, I walked back to the bedroom like this. And then my cousin see me, he's like, yo, she ain't give you the money. I was like, no. She said, and before I could finish saying what I said, I could hear her voice in the other room. You goddamn right, I said you ain't. You ain't getting no damn $50. And we was like, man, she said we didn't get it because that's the money while we eat around here. But yo, my whole point with that story is, see how a kid, it was exactly what my uncle said. Split with your cousin. Parents treating kids equally. He wasn't biased like my cousin mother was towards me. Give me 35 cents out of $1 and you keep 65 cents. That's bias. So, but that hurt it. Did you eat? Well, that's a damn $50. Man, that burnt me up. I don't think I ever had my chin so low. Like, she said, you're goddamn right, I said that's where that money at. Now y'all little mother effer, greedy little mother, blah, blah, blah. Man, that was a miserable day. But yo, the whole point of this whole story is how some parents, like that father, he was doing the right thing, taking care of his son, but he's not obligated to take care of the other ones. However, he do need to be mindful that you don't want to be so biased towards your son to the way it turns animosity of his siblings against him. That's all. That's all it is.
Yeah, and I'm going to butt in, babe. But I think what my opinion about me not agreeing with what she did is that if she had a lot of class, if she was a real woman,
Which she wasn't.
would carry exactly, then you know she wouldn't have done what she just did.
Exactly.
Because a woman that has a lot of class and that she's more reserved into the society, not letting everybody know her business, she would actually say, you know, let me handle this a different way.
You're right, because she been talking about she gonna put him on
but
blast.
she humiliated him, and not only that,
made herself look stupid.
Exactly. Thank you.
And you bragging about some damn welfare.
Thank you. That's what I was
so
getting
you don't got
at.
a job. You can't take care of your kids. You gonna feed your kids with welfare money. You's a bum about that chick.
Yep.
But yo,
that's my main point.
In this video, yo, subscribe, share, like, and comment. Yo, hope y'all appreciate it. Parents treating kids equally. I definitely have other stories that could touch on this, but I just gave you those two because I don't want to make it too long. But I know how that feels. Animosity towards your siblings because you feeling biased treatment towards them. You're like, yo, what about me? But yo, on that note, subscribe, share, like, and comment. Peace.